Chapter 5. The Final Flight. 1937. 1937. Snow White and Seven Dwarfs is first feature-length animated movie. 1939. George Putnam's book Wings. Soaring Wings. A biography of Amelia is published. 1941. On December the 7th, Pearl Harbor, Hawaii is bombed. United States enters World War II. This is the medal. Medali emas. Now Amelia was known all over the world. She was honored first by President Coolidge, then President Hoover. She became a close friend of President Franklin Roosevelt and his wife Eleanor. But above all, Amelia kept accomplishing her own firsts. She helped create the first women's flying club and became its first president. It was called the 99s because it had 99 founding members. Beside other flying firsts, Amelia also had luggage named after her and designed a line of women's clothing. Coat designed by Miss Earhart. Miss Amelia Earhart, George Palmer Putnam. When Amelia was almost 40 years old, she decided to fly around the world. She selected her plane and her navigator, Fred Noonan. Amelia studied maps and charts and planned her route. The plane was fitted with a new tool, a radio that transmitted and received signals. Amelia and Fred left on June the 1st, 1937, from Miami, Florida. They headed east. At each stop, she was in contact with her husband. Amelia and Fred were greeted warmly at each place they stopped along the way. Ada orang pakai peci, teman-teman. Mungkin ini di Indonesia ya. Apakah peci hanya ada di Indonesia? On July the 2nd, Amelia and Fred took off from Lae in New Guinea. She was due to land on Howland Island in the Pacific Ocean, but her radio was not working well. The ground crew lost contact. There was no sign that her plane ever landed on the island. There was no sign that the plane crashed into the ocean. There was no trace of Amelia, Fred, or the plane. Amelia Earhart was gone. Amelia Earhart's disappearance was a mystery. Some people believe she simply ran out of fuel. Others believed she was a spy for the United States and had been captured. No one really knows what happened to her. Nih, Indonesia teman-teman. Dilewatin dan ada di Pulau Jawa dan sepertinya ada di sini juga. Mungkin ini Nusa Tenggara Barat, Papua Nugini, Australia, Papua Nugini. Amelia Earhart is one of the most famous aviators in the world, and she was an unsung feminist during her life. Do you know what feminist is? Feminist is a movement about fighting for the rights of women. Amelia Earhart never felt that she should not or could not do something simply because she was a woman. Amelia Earhart never felt that she should not or could not do something simply because she was a woman. And with her fame, she inspired young girls to dream. Amelia Earhart said it best. To enjoy doing something, to concentrate all of your energy on it, that is not only the surest guarantee of its success, it is also being true to yourself. Here is a timeline of Amelia Earhart's life. In 1897, Amelia is born in Atchison, Kansas on July the 24th. In 18 99. Sister Muriel, born on December the 29th. 1918, becomes a nurse's AD in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. 1920, takes her first airplane ride. 1921 to 1922, takes her first flying lesson, buys her first plane, and gets her pilot's license. 1924, parents divorce. Amelia moves to Massachusetts. Becomes 1926, becomes a social worker at Denison House in Boston. 1928, first woman to fly across the Atlantic. The trip takes 20 hours and 40 minutes. 1928, President Calvin Coolidge honors Earhart, Stoltz, and Gordon at the White House. 1929, helps start a women's pilot club, the 99s. 1930, sets women's speed record, 181.18 miles per hour. 1930, marries George Putnam. 1932, first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic. Trip takes 14 hours and 54 minutes. 1932, President Herbert Hoover presents her with National Geographic Society's Gold Medal. 1935, first person to fly solo from Honolulu, Hawaii to Oakland, California, from Los Angeles to Mexico City, and the first person to fly non-stop from Mexico City to Newark, New Jersey. 1937, attempts to fly around the world with Fred Noonan. After completing 22,000 miles, or two-thirds of her total flight, her plane disappears. 1937, Amelia Earhart declared dead on July 16. Declared dead. Mysteriously disappears. Then it is declared that she is dead by this. The end.